Obviously, you're expecting us to have the breakfast headlines, but of course, we decided to switch that to one of the biggest headlines that's actually making the front pages and also one that's being discussed by many. It's got to do with the true revelation that was mentioned during a press conference by Dangote, where he had made a very strong statements, and many have termed it not to be allegations, but to be strong statements made by the richest man in Africa. Let's take a look at it very briefly, and then we'll come back as we're about to delve into the impact of this statement. Now it is indeed affecting the petroleum sector.
No, Code of Conduct Bureau, because they have his returns, he must have filed and, register what he had, and so he needs to tell, because he's been working for government all his life. So he should tell, I know what it is. I told you earlier, I will not be able to afford sending 4 of my children to a secondary school, not university, to a secondary school to Switzerland at $5 million for the 6 years of 4 kids that he has. Okay, if you deny, as a matter of fact, if you deny, because after I know that it will be the major headline tomorrow. So when he denies it, I will publish with my name, saying that these are the schools that they attended and co. As a matter of fact, I will sue those schools to publish how much of fees he has paid for all the time that they were there, including now the other information which you don't have. He should give us the universities they went to and spent 4 years, how much he has paid. I know that one of them just finished Harvard, and tuition alone he paid $150,000.
To Alhaji Aliko Dangote and also the NMDPRA authority chief to meet with the committee to be able to give us details and insights into what are the underlying issues that is leading to these allegations and counter allegations. And the committee also resolved this afternoon to plead with the contending parties in the dispute to cease fire, especially media comments, so that we don't escalate the situation further, because the committee has the capacity to wade into this matter and find solutions once and for all to these issues. So we are pleading with the key actors in the dispute to cease fire, to reduce the allegation and counter allegations, as the committee will get to the root of the matter. Some of those issues, we already have received petitions from some of the parties on the issue of import license, on the issues of whether the domestic refineries have capacity to produce the entire daily need of Nigerians. All these issues will be resolved by the time Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the NMDPRA, and other key stakeholders in the downstream refining sector and regulatory sector comes and meets with the committee, so that we can be able to get the real gist of what is happening and be able to come up with a resolution and solution that will provide sustainable solutions. So we're pleading with them to cease forthwith further attacks on each other, whether the agency, whether the agency or the refining community, while the refining community, while the committee.
Okay, so you just saw the member of the House of Representatives, Nigeria, one who is a House of Rep, a joint committee on petroleum resources spokesperson there, speaking to members of the press after the initial press release by Aliko Dangote, president of Dangote Group. But now we have an issue at hand. Well, let's see how we can further dissect this. And that would affect you as we are in the Yuletide season. National Publicity Secretary of Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Chinedu Ukadike, or better still, Chief Chinedu Ukadike, joins us this morning to dissect this issue. I think the very first question would be, ever since that press statement, what has been the reaction from the oil marketers? Is there in any way some iota or the iota of truth in that press statement that was delivered by Mr. Dangote? And how has it affected the marketers in any way?
When the elephant strikes, the grass will definitely suffer. Whatever that is in between NMDPRA, I don't want to personalize it to Farouk, because he is the ears of NMDPRA. Yes, definitely everybody will say Farouk. But I think Alhaji Farouk, as the years of NMDPRA, is also trying to guide himself in terms of the principles of the PIA, and also administrative mechanism within the NMDPRA. Now, the statements issued by Alhaji Dangote, like I said earlier on, is that we are taking this issue too far, because definitely it's going to affect with independent marketers. Alhaji Farouk, if I understand the fluid between both of them, is this issue of issuing of import license. And Dangote has established, carefully, that he can be able to sustain the domestic supply of petroleum products in Nigeria. While NMDPRA, in its purview, in the conference of law and the powers and authorities of the authority, can also issue import license to marketers who are willing to buy it, and stagnating the market. Because if Dangote cannot be able to push in product into the market, marketers who sought products from elsewhere, who feels that this product might be also be cheaper, will also apply to NMDPRA to get import license. And if the authority look at the capability and capacity of those marketers who want to import petroleum products, and they issue them license to bring in petroleum products and also compete in the domestic market, I don't think there is anything wrong in that. This is our business strategy, and also this is our policies of government. When government has also provided for import license and export license, if you are capable of bringing in petrol cheaper than 699, you can go. The ES will also issue you import license. The import license is not his personal property. The import license is also for consumers, also for marketers. This product will be sold to marketers. This product will be used by Nigerians. You understand me? Yes, we're also talking about Nigerian first, trying to protect Dangote, also trying to protect his investment, also trying to buy petroleum products for it. Even now, Dangote has even called independent marketers to come and pick petroleum products. This has not happened before. So kudos to him. So you see, when there are policies that can be able to regulate manufacturers or refiners to be able to see to the needs of marketers, it does not stop anything. You can get an import license. You might, at the end of the day, win or even gain from it. But because the NMDPRA, as the watchdog, as the authority of the downstream sector, will also comply with all the necessary laws and issue license where necessary. You cannot tell NMDPRA not to issue license to independent marketers who want to renew their license. You can also not tell NMDPRA not to issue license not to issue licenses to people who want to import petroleum products. As it is now, what Dangote have done in terms of our domestic market, I don't think there's anybody who is right thinking will be able to go and say he's going to import petroleum products. So I also believe that the presidency would have stepped into this and be able to sit down with these two very strong institutions of the very strong institutions in our country and see how these issues will be resolved. The essence of taking it personal, for me, I don't want to comment on that because the House Committee Chairman, Ikenga Chinye, on that stream has also stepped in to be able to bring these two together. But, going domestic into people's personal life or where they want to train their children. There are some businessmen that their children are not here in Nigeria. They are training their children overseas. That shouldn't count. But I also want to appeal to Alhaji that he has done nobly well. He has done well as far as this industry is concerned. Since the inception of Dangote, we have been having a steady supply of petroleum products. Whatever supply he cannot be able to make up, those little licenses that have been issued by the ES will also complement the supply. The essence of this market is demand and supply. Once there is demand, there should also be supply, whether external or internal. We are eating local rice here. We're also eating imported rice. It is your choice, and the choice of price. If Aliko Dangote's PMS now is almost 740 at the pump, I don't think any right-thinking human being will go and buy export that is being imported. It's not possible. Everybody wants to minimize his little earning and see how he can be able to foster. So I also believe that this flood will definitely affect marketers, because most of whatever the ES is doing, I also think it's the interest of the marketers not to allow the market to be monopolized. It's also trying to give to the society whatever demand they want. I also want to tell you categorically clear here that the ES has been very, very meticulous in terms of issuing this import license. He has not issued import license just, if you are not showing working that you can import, he will not issue the import license. I think that is also trying to guide that the whatever Dangote is producing, that we will also be able to consume it. I also want to laud Aliko Dangote for the first time, inviting the independent marketers to come and pick at least 10 trucks, which is a very, very, very wonderful move. This move will also be able to quell some of this issue of these import licenses. You will find out that nobody will go to import petroleum product. Why is local? Why is refined here and it's cheaper?
So when you say that, sorry, just to quickly ask, I know you had mentioned earlier that you don't want to speak to the personal allegations that were made by Alhaji Aliko Dangote. But you also did say that you had hoped that the president will intervene at this point. What exactly do you, or what should that intervention would you have expected from the president?
No, the president have an overriding power to be able to intervene both political and economic issues, even cultural issues. The president have such enormous power, to intervene in all these issues. If Mr. President, in his magnanimity, maybe through the Minister of Petroleum, like I'm calling the Minister of Petroleum, to be able to invite Aliko Dangote and Alhaji Farouk to be able to sit down and find out where this thin line that is causing unnecessary dissatisfaction comes from. You understand me? Like on this issue of educational expenses and all the rest of them, I will not know I don't know the capacity of Alhaji Farouk, but I don't think that should be coming to a national issue. And a very, very important issue that has
we're talking of the use of taxpayers' money that goes way beyond his salary. So it's a matter of transparency and also accountability. I believe, it's national issue. It's fair.
Yeah, any individual can raise an issue. You understand? Being a civil servant does not mean that he doesn't have any source of living, or does it? Mean that maybe family and friends
$5 million for school fees. That's a bit exorbitant. Looking at that price.
No. You can't say it's exorbitant. You don't understand what his family line looks like. You don't understand what his family line looks like.
But the richest man in Africa said he himself did not even send his own children to secondary school in Nigeria. Let alone a public official who spent all his years in government service. There are certain issues that it raises eyebrows. But away from personal matters, because of the time we have left, Dangote made a very serious allegation that the NMDPRA is enabling the importation of low-grade fuel to undercut his refinery. This is a very weighty allegation. Which government body would you expect to investigate the regulators and see if there's any truth in this allegation?
I want to be very sincere and honest. I'm not saddening anybody. This team of people in NMDPRA now, they are doing a very, very wonderful job. I will not castigate them because I have seen some of the jobs they have done. The issue of bringing in substandard fuel. NMDPRA have a laboratory that check the quality of petroleum product being imported in this country. And I also know that there was a time we have an issue of low importation, not even during this Dangote era. So I don't think that any ethical human being will be able to bring in low standard petroleum product and I'll be allowed by NMDPRA. I don't think so. And nobody has ever reported that he has, beaten NMDPRA's standardization in terms of testing the petroleum products. I don't think so, too.
All right, Mr. Okadike, thank you for joining us on the conversation this morning. We will continue with the story to see what the next steps are. I mean, it's Christmas season again, just to confirm that we hope that this thing does not spiral into a larger issue, and that we don't get
No, definitely it will not.
And we are not expecting any fuel scarcity towards the end of the year. It's Christmas season. That's usually the year.
Thank you very much.
On December.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.